Hey everyone, it's Opi here. Welcome back to my channel where I talk about health, wealth and happiness. Today I've got a different topic to talk about. Initially when I started this channel, I wanted to talk about evergreen content, meaning that, even if you watch this 12 months from now, 2 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years time, the content would be relevant because we're talking about timeless principles, about mindset, about diet and exercise and keeping the mind happy and so forth, right? Those are all timeless principles. Even if you don't take action straight away, you can sort of look back into it and apply. And like I said, I initially started this channel for the benefit of my kids when they grow up, in case I pass away or whatever, they'll have something to look back in and learn from. But I thought it might be a good idea to create a new playlist and put time-sensitive content, meaning stuff that I'm investing in right now that might not be valid in the next month or so, or just stuff like that are useful and stuff that are happening in the media and so forth. So with that in mind, I'll show you, I'll come back to you in just a second and tell you what I'm going to talk about. It's going to be interesting. See you at the bit. Alright guys, welcome back. So today's topic is about crypto, and it's actually going to be, I'm only going to be talking about one particular crypto coin that I've got told about about 12 months ago. Didn't take notice of it. 6 months went by and then one of my friends told me, hey, you really need to look into this because I've made some decent money out of it. But before I get into the detail about it, I want to let you know that crypto or cryptocurrency and any sort of avenues like this are completely speculating, okay? You're putting money down in hopes that the price will rise. I wouldn't call it true investing at all. And based on that, this is not investing advice. This is general advice just for entertainment purposes. So please do keep in mind that this entire area is completely volatile. You could have downturns of 95% or upsides of 10x, 100x, 10,000x. So it's all over the place. So really do your research. Look into the projects. What are you putting your money down on? And obviously, this goes without saying, but I'll say it. Don't put any money that you can't afford to lose. Okay, so if you're going to put, say, $10 down, make sure that you're happy to lose that $10. If you're going to put $1,000 down, same principle. If you're going to put $10,000, so whatever money that you put down, just prepare to lose it all. Okay. Having said that, there are upsides and there are downsides. So that's what you need to, as an individual person, you need to make that decision yourself. But let me get on with it and tell you about these projects. Okay. So these projects are Hex, Pulse Chain, PulseX, and sometime in the future there'll be a wallet as well. So these are all projects of a guy called Richard Hart. And Richard is an interesting character. Okay, if you look him up on the internet, he's all over the place. He comes across very flamboyant, sometimes arrogant, outspoken, and you might be turned off. But I encourage you to sort of watch some of the debates that he's done with, various people, including fairly famous people as well in the economic space, such as say Peter Schiff. And look at the arguments, the topics that he covers, and how he puts his facts across. Okay, so that's how I sort of got converted, if you will, to thinking, oh my God, this guy's actually knows what he's talking about. Because initially when I looked at him, I'm going, this guy's he's dressed in colorful brand name stuff, Gucci and what else does he wear? Anyway, I don't keep track of these, but he wears brand name clothes. And he's got like millions of dollars worth of watches at the back. So he comes across as very proud and loud and very boisterous sort of personality. When you look at it and when you listen to the message that he's trying to sort of give, he's like, look, people want to see the flashy stuff. If I convince him about the flashy stuff, I can actually show him the projects that I'm working on or show them the projects that I'm working on. I can tell them about the charities that I'm involved with, the millions and millions of dollars of funds that he's given away, and so forth. But if I come across with the self-help and the charities and the project, no one wants to listen to you. So it's from a marketing space, he's a genius, and he's doing what he's doing, and it's working for him. Because even though I didn't really care about the flashy stuff, I looked at the debates, and that's how I sort of looked at him from a different angle, going, okay, this guy knows what he's talking about. So in regards to Hex itself as a coin, think of this coin as a term deposit. Okay, in Australia, we have term deposits where you have X amount of money, you put it into the bank, and at the end of, say, whatever the duration limit that you decide on, say 6 months, 12 months, 2 years, 5 years, whatever, at the end of maturity, you end up getting your principal plus your interest. If you break that tenure period, say, if it's a 12-month term deposit and you break it in, say, 6 months, there's a penalty, right? And that's what banks apply. Same thing applies. So for Richard's thinking is the people who make money are those who actually keep their coins for the long term, instead of trading and trying to make money out of it. So he goes, how can I incentivize people to hold their money for a long term? Okay, let's lock in the money or lock in their coins for a longer period of time, and you decide what that term is. So the maximum amount is 15 years, but you could do a 1-day stake, and it's called staking. So think of it like a term deposit. In America, they call it certificates of deposit, CDs, and in other countries, they've got different names for it. But all you're doing is sort of locking away your funds for a certain amount of time, and you end up getting your principal and your interest if you serve that full term. Worst case scenario, you end up, so how do you make your money? The making your money is you're basically minting your own coin. So it is an inflationary coin, and the minimum is 3.5% per annum. That's the minimum. That's if all of these other factors, and there's a whole bunch of game theory that's built into the product itself. So at the moment, it's averaging around 38% per annum. Okay, but I'll show you when I jump on the computer how this actually plays out, and what the incentives are. So I guess the reason why I'm making this is, I'll put some money down now, so later on, if you guys ask me, how's the crypto going, and I tell you this is what I invested in, there's no point sort of going back at it and going, hey, you guys should have done this with me, which is why I guess I'm making this video now, so you can do this as well. So another reason why I'm making this on a time sensitive level is because we're in a bear market at the moment. Bitcoin's just dropped to under 20k, I think, and it'll probably drop further. And that's what people have been saying. It'll probably drop almost another 50%. And you might think, whoa, this is not scaremongering. It could go up, but the people who are in the know say it could halve again. So hopefully I've portrayed given you some things to think about. So please don't use this video as an opportunity to put money down into any of these projects. Okay, this should be a stepping stone into you researching some more and you finding out, you working out for you if this is something that you want to invest in. Okay, so again, this is not investment advice. These are all very risky, speculative instruments, so please do your research. Okay, having said all that, let me jump on the computer. If you are wanting to invest in, say, Hex, I'll take you through the steps. This is only applicable if you're really new and you don't know, you haven't sort of delved into the crypto space. But if you've got experience, I'm sure you'll be able to sort of get yourself some Ethereum or USBC or some sort of stable coin, and then exchange that for Hex using one of the swapping platforms like 1inch.io is what I use. Anyway, let's jump on the computer and I'll show you step by step if you don't know what I'm talking about. Thanks. Hey everyone, welcome back. And we're on the computer now. So typically the exchange that I use in Australia is independent reserve. I'll leave the comments a link in the comment section, and that way you can use that if you want. It will be an affiliate link. But you can also use other stuff like Coinbase is very popular. I've used that. Actually, use that often. But this one is actually quite good. The reason why it's quite good is because I can just transfer directly into here. So, for example, if I wanted to deposit some Aussie dollars, I'd go deposit funds, and I would, the fastest way is, copy this URL here, sorry, not URL, a link here, and then go into your banking and then put that in as a. Um, Actually, let me show you. Let me just pause this and I'll show you. Actually, I've tried to do this, but basically, on when you log on to your internet banking, on the Pay ID section, it'll say email address. So on the email address, click on that and enter these details in. And I'm not sure if this is unique to me, so I'll blur it out. But you'll need to enter this one, and then the funds will basically go directly through to your account. This is only applicable if you're in Australia. If you're overseas, there's other ways such as doing electronic transfers, or you can just use Coinbase. Okay, so having said that, once you get the money in, so as you can see, I transferred about $600 into that yesterday. I got an email from them saying the deposit has been transferred, blah blah blah, into my account. Great. So now what I want to do is I want to transfer this into my MetaMask wallet. So I don't recommend you keep any of your coins in any of these exchanges. And what you're using these exchanges for is to get your fiat dollars, whether they're dollars, rupees, yen, um, rand, whatever it is, into the system, and then you want to transfer them to your own wallet, whether it's a cold wallet or a soft wallet, a hardware wallet, which is basically like a USB stick that you can get online, or you can use something simple like MetaMask. So if you don't know what MetaMask is, it's just a Chrome extension that has a own wallet address. You can download it and use something like that. And when you're buying Hex, it can't go into an exchange. It has to be one of these wallets. So once you've downloaded and installed it, it'll appear something like this. Make sure you write down all your private keys. So you'll get a password and what's known as a private key, which is a whole string of numbers. Write that down somewhere. Keep it safe. But I'm about to log in here, so let me just pause this. So once you've logged in, copy your Ethereum wallet address, and what you want to do is transfer this money out here. Okay. Actually, before we do that, we have to change this for something. So I'm actually going to be changing this for USB-C. So I'm going to go trade. Actually, trade just gives me, by default gives me BTC, which I don't want. I'm going to go back to buy and sell. Then I'm going to click on USB-C, which is basically what I want. But you can easily buy Ethereum if you wanted to. And then, sorry, this is a little different to what I use, but I'm just going to say all the funds available. And that's how much USB-C I'll get. Actually, I might keep a little bit just in case I need to. Actually, now I've got a tiny bit of Ethereum. That should be enough. So I'm going to go buy everything. Okay, so that's how much I'll get, which is equivalent to roughly to USD value. So that should have gone through. If I go to trade or accounts. Okay, so as this is coming up, you'll see if I scroll down here, I've got that much USDC. So now what I want to do is I want to withdraw this amount. withdraw, and I'm going to go max amount, and then I'm going to put my wallet address and go withdraw. All right, let me do that now. So interestingly enough, it actually had two-step authentication and three-step authentication, which means it asked me for. Uh, so I've got a Google Authenticator, which is actually not really Google because I use a different app called TOTP Authenticator, which is pretty cool because it allows you to back up your stuff, whereas Google Authenticator doesn't do that. Now, then it also asked me for a SMS, that code that went into my mobile as well. So it's like a triple step. So now, if I go into my MetaMask wallet, hopefully I should see those funds. Depending how fast this happens. And when you want it to work, it's frozen. So give me a second. Okay. While my MetaMask is thinking, I'm going to basically launch what's known as 1inch.io. So what I'm trying to do is buy Hex. Let's see what Hex is at the moment. So I'm guessing it'll be around the 3 cent mark. And again, depending on when you watch this video, this is going to change. It may go up, it may go down. In the short term, it'll most likely go down. Therefore, it's going up to 4 cents now. So what I'm going to actually do is connect my wallet to 1inch.io. So bear with me. So what I've done is I've just clicked on this thing called, launch tab, and it should be launching. It's thinking, and now it's just going to ask me very shortly to give permission to my MetaMask wallet. But actually, maybe because I've given it permission before, it's not asking me. But at the moment, the funds have come through, have they? Yes, they have. Balance, boom. All right, let me go into this a little bit more now. Okay, so if I want to do a straight swap from here to here, I can go, if I can click the max amount that I have in my wallet, but I might keep a little bit there just for gas fees or whatever, and I'll do $450. But I don't want to do it at the market rate. I want to set what's known as a limit order. And limit order is if it reaches a certain amount, if it drops a certain amount, basically what I want to do is I want this to execute. As I want to buy uh, whatever hex is available at that point in time. So for example, if I've got $450 in there, if I buy it now, I'll get about 11,474 and change. But say, and notice this mark, okay? So if I buy it at that rate, I'll be buying it for 3.039 or so. But I want it to be cheaper than that. So say I do it this way. So now we're really getting close to the 3. But you know what? I'm pretty sure this is going to drop below 3. So let's keep going. Now we're at 3 even. Now we're at 2.4. Okay. I'm going to say eventually it's going to drop to that amount. Actually, you know what? What I might do is not. Yeah, it should drop eventually. Let me just check these out. Let's do that. So it's going to drop below 3. As soon as it below 3, it's going to execute. And I'm going to get 16,000 hex for that amount. And I'm going to say valid for custom. Let's see. I can do. Oh, it's asking for hours. Here we go. I'm going to say valid for 30 days. And go limit order. Yep, that amount. 16,000 hex. Boom. And it'll go into my wallet. Review. Done. And now sign in. Now it's just asking for an authorization from MetaMask. So this little thing pops up and I just have to go, yeah, no problem. you do what you gotta have to do. So before you do all this, make sure you're in the right swapping thing. So I'm using, as I said, app.oneinch.io. There are heaps of dodgy ones out there, so make sure you don't uh, go into any dodgy sites. So let me just pause this. Okay, so I've signed in, and this limit order is set. Okay, and if you go into limit orders, there it is. Boom. And hopefully it will get fulfilled soon. And if I go to my history orders, let's see if my old one got executed. I put one for $50, and that didn't get executed. That's fine. So let me show you another site. Okay, so this is a site called hex dot. Sorry, stake hex today. So this is a great website on what you can do with your hex. Okay, so you can link up your wallet to get an accurate reading, but say you actually invested, what did we say we're going to get? 16,000 hex, right? Why isn't it counting? 16,000. So that's what I would have had to spend in today's dollars, but we're hoping it'll drop again. And remember, I talked about staking before, which is basically you're locking your funds in, and we're going to do 10 stakes over 10 years. So this is what's called a staking ladder. So 10 years, every year, there's a stake that's coming through. So basically, what we're going to do is take the 16,000 divided by 10. So 1,600 hex coins will be staked every year. And you'll see when I press view what'll happen. So it's asking me to put the wallet address. In this case, I'm not going to do it just for this example. So here's a great example. Okay. So by this time next year, if the first stake, so the original amount that I've staked, will mature. And as you can see, where is it? Did I do $16,000? I may have done $16,000. So let me go back. 16,000, no, 16,000 hex. Yep. Okay, so we're back, and I realized why I was confused, because I was wondering why the principal amount keeps going up. So let me just change that to hex here, because it's incoming company USD. But if I go uh, appearing in hex, the hex amount, let me move my face onto the other side, that amount will stay the same. 1600, 1600, 1600, all the way for the next 10 years. But if the projections are correct according to this, and again, this is all speculation, if I click on this, that hex value will go up. So by this time next year, it could be as high as 15,000, and who knows if it'll happen. In the short term, it'll probably be wrong. In the long term, there's more chance of it being right. It's just how the market is. Um, and so forth. Look, it as I said, it keeps going up little by little, and at the moment, it's completely flatlined. I don't know if you can see, and the reason why it's flatlined over here is we're not expecting any sort of price increases at the moment, but we can play around with these figures. Say it went up a little bit more, and then we put another marker. I don't know how to put another marker. These values change, okay? Depending on that, the total projected amount changes. So if we go back, you might remember, how much did we put in? We barely put in, six. We didn't put $600. We were assuming we can get it for 200 and sorry, 2.6 cents, right, or 2.9 cents. Let me go back. So bear with me. What did we say? 2.8 cents. Okay, so if we get it for 2.8 cents, and we put this number as 1600, 16,000, equivalent. That's equivalent of us spending that amount. We're staking for 10 years, and that's the maximum amount of days. Press that and we'll get what we want. So play around with this. You don't have to enter your email address or sorry wallet address, and it's just a fun little exercise of the potential gains. Okay, and this seems quite ridiculous, but and again, come on with the being skeptical. It's completely fine, but this way, as each year this expires, you can actually tell how much of interest that you'll get, and the principal amount generally stays the same because it's obviously the hex amount, but the dollar amount will change if the price increases. But even if the price doesn't increase, you'll still get the interest amount. And the idea is, say at the 11th year, um, even next year, you basically sell the interest and then reinvest the principal again, and so forth. And you keep going, keep going, keep going. But if you really want to learn about this in more detail, I recommend a guy called uh, Crypto Coffee, and he actually did a much better presentation of this than I did, and his content of Hex is way more detailed. As you know, I am a generalist when it comes to these sort of things. There's no point in me being a specialist. Okay, so I recommend you follow this guy. He seems actually. Let me try and pause this. Yeah, follow this guy, and he's a. Uh, Let me shut that off because it's not pausing. But I'll leave a link to his channel as well because his content is great if you really want to go into a detail, and obviously follow Richard Hart and suss him out and see what you think of him. But that's all for today. I hope you got something out of it. Please research, go into detail and see if this is something that you want to speculate in. Okay, but bear in mind that what you're trying, the point of this coin is that it's supposed to be a long term investment. Okay, it's not a turnaround quick buck kind of coin here. So if you're going to look into it, make sure you have a long time horizon and you're okay with delayed gratification, because the price appreciation is great, right? It's 18,000 and so forth. But it's really the staking and the interest that you're getting, and in all this game theory that's built around it to reward the people who are toughing it out, sticking with the staking and not breaking the lease early, are the ones who get rewarded. Anyway, I've waffled on enough. If you got something out of it, hit the like and subscribe button. Thank you very much. See you in the next one. All the best. Happy investing or speculating.